I don't love being bitten or stung by our planet's misunderstood creatures, but I do love teaching you how to avoid these worst-case scenarios. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to be scorched by fire ants. Here we go. Ah! Yeah! Ah! Yeah! Oh my gosh, that's so intense! Oh!
This episode is sponsored by Sting Kill.
Imagine it's your wedding day. You picked the perfect venue. You posed for 1,000,000 pictures. And you built up the courage to walk down the aisle to say, I do. But what happens when an uninvited guest shows up to crash your big day? To the untrained eye, the ground in front of me looks like soft grass and sandy soil. But just beneath the surface, a world of terror is waiting to erupt. Do you know what love really means? Look out, volcanoes everywhere.
The red imported fire ant was accidentally introduced to the United States from South America in the early 1930s, and since this time has become a major agricultural and urban pest throughout the southeastern US. These insects have established a stronghold, so eradication is virtually impossible. And every year, thousands of people fall victim to their agonizing venomous stings. At a first glance, their mounds look completely benign. Yet beneath the surface is a catacomb of elaborate tunnels, bustling with workers, soldiers, the queen, and her brood of precious eggs. The moment an invader is detected, like a volcano, it erupts, and the merciless flow of angry ants will destroy anything in their path.
Now, the purpose of today's episode, aside from the sheer entertainment of me being stung by gazillions of fire ants, is to educate you about these invasive little insects and to show you what to do if you ever find yourself in this worst-case scenario. Now, it's no secret that I've been stung by fire ants in the past. In fact, I've been stung close to 300 times as I plunged my hands down into one of their mounds. Truth be told, it's one of the worst sting scenarios of my entire life. But realistically, you're not likely to be stung on your hands. You're much more likely to be stung on your feet. So today, I'm going to sacrifice mine in the name of science to show you what to do if you ever find yourself in this worst-case scenario. So if you're ready to party, let's dance with the fire ants. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to be scorched by fire ants. Here we go. 1, 2, oh boy, 3.
Now, before we enter the volcano and provoke an eruption of swarming ants, I want you to understand what makes these little invaders so impactful. Size doesn't always matter, and what these ants lack in scale, they make up for with sheer volume. Even the slightest disruption will provoke fire ants to attack a perceived intruder with a full barrage of soldiers. And if the mound is big enough, we are literally talking about thousands of ants. With their mandibles, they bite and lock on. From there, the sting party begins as they twist their abdomen into striking position and inflict sting after sting after sting. Fire ants inject a neurotoxic venom that immediately makes their victim feel as if they have stepped into a pool of boiling lava. Sounds like fun. Now let's see what that looks like in real life.
The mental preparation that it takes to induce a sting, let alone an onslaught of stings, is not an easy thing to describe. This isn't like taking a single bullet ant sting or an executioner wasp, which are both incredibly painful. This is getting stung over and over again by fire ants, one of the most formidable little biological landmines that exists, in my opinion, on the entire planet. So if you guys are ready, it's time to step into a mound of fire ants. Here we go. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to be scorched by fire ants. Here they come. Here they come. Here they come. Oh boy. I'm just gonna let myself get covered. The volcano is erupting. Oh man, they are really swarming at this point. Look at that, they're completely covering my ankles. I do not miss the feeling of fire ants. Okay, I gotta step out. I gotta step out of the mound, man, they got that one foot a lot worse than this foot. Oh my gosh, that is so intense. They might be small, but fire ants are incredibly mighty and they attack in mass. So right now what they're doing is biting out with the mandibles and inflicting that sting, and that neurotoxic venom is just destroying my feet and my ankles right now. Oh, this is the absolute worst case scenario you would not want to find yourself in. Imagine being in flip-flops, you brush through an entire mound of ants and your feet are completely covered. I can already see the stings beginning to welt up. All right, guys, I gotta dust them off. I gotta dust off. We good? We good? Okay, I'm gonna use this feather duster to gently get the ants off of me. Yes, I don't wanna try to crush any ants in this process, so I'm just gonna lightly dust them off. Come on, guys, get off of me. Off, 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 off. Off we go. Oh my goodness. Sweet feather duster relief. Oh my gosh. Oh, and there's a bunch of them in between my toes. You wanna talk about sensitive skin areas? In between the toes has gotta be the worst. Okay, ants are off. I'm out of the scene. Now, I know you are probably all wondering to yourselves, Coyote, just how bad are you feeling at this moment? Both of my feet are in absolute agony. And the burning at this point has started to wear off and the itching is beginning to set in. I would guess that I took somewhere around 450 to 500 stings. That is more than I took last time when I plunged my hands into the mound of fire ants. My toes seem to have even changed slight color given the onslaught of stings that I took in between my toes, which is an incredibly sensitive area. The top of your feet are soft and those ants just went to town. Now, the first thing you want to do if you find yourself in a mound is obviously to get out of it. Get the ants off of you and move yourself into a controlled situation. If you can, get yourself some water and wash off the sting zone. So what I'm going to do is just take my Brave Wilderness water bottle and get all of the dirt and dust and any other debris on my feet off, and this is just going to be so incredibly soothing. Oh yeah, ice cold water. That feels wonderful. Wow. I never thought I would be so happy to have cold water on my feet. Getting the sting zone washed off is definitely important. Just kind of bat it down if you can with a little paper towel there and get it dry before you go on to apply the rest of your first aid. Now, you're very unlikely to have an allergic reaction to fire ants. However, they have been reported to have caused anaphylactic shock in the past. So stay in tune with how your body is reacting to the venom. If you feel your throat tightening up or you're just really losing control of the situation, seek medical help. But for the most part, fire ant stings are nothing more than just simply an uncomfortable scenario. Now, our friends at Sting Kill have a new product, and I always have Sting Kill in my first aid kits. But today, we are going to look at Fire Out. And what's really cool about this is, I'm just gonna get it opened up here. It's a very simple to use product. Comes in a little bottle, just like this. All you need to do is screw off the top, and right underneath, almost like a deodorant rolling ball, you've got this up here. You just wanna break the seal, and it's gonna get the actual serum itself working. So here we go. I'm gonna start getting Fire Out onto my foot, and let's see if the relief is instantaneous. Oh, that is wonderful. Oh my gosh, that is wonderful. the cooling sensation that is bringing to the top of my foot right now is the relief that I have been waiting for. I'm just gonna get that work down into my toes there. Now keep in mind, I took an onslaught of stings. It's not likely you're going to receive as many as I did in this scenario, but no matter how many stings you take, Fire Out, at this point, has definitely extinguished those flames. Now when it comes to fire ant stings, there are 3 stages. The stings themselves, the immediate aftermath, and then the 24-hour effect. Just wait until you guys see what my feet look like in the morning.
Of all the insect stings I have taken, people always want to know which hurt the worst, and my answer is always the same. The most painful was definitely the executioner wasp, followed by the giant hornet, and coming in 3rd place is everyone's favorite, the bullet ant. But no one ever asks which sting just kept on giving. If they did, the answer would definitely be fire ants.
Well, it's been 14 hours since my dance with the fire ants. And as you can see, the pustules have come out in full force. Now, it was inevitable that my feet were gonna end up looking like this. It's just my body's natural reaction to the fire ant venom. But I have to note, I only applied Fire Out a single time, and thus far, I've experienced no more stinging or burning since the onslaught of stings. Now that is impressive. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure.
In the days that followed filming my entry into the volcano of fire ants, I continued to apply Fire Out every time the heat and itching began to flare up. And much to my delight, it eliminated the discomfort immediately. However, nothing can stop your body's natural reaction to fight the venom, 95% of which is composed of insoluble alkaloids that your body forces to the skin's surface in the form of unsightly pustules. This series of pictures shows you just how horrific the aftermath was in a 36, 48, and 72-hour window. So I think you get the idea. Dancing with fire ants is not on the list of fun things to do this summer. But fear not, if you find yourself balancing on the rim of an ant volcano, Sting Kill has got you covered. And the first aid is quick, simple, and now proven to bring immediate relief.
Real medicine, real relief, real fast. When it comes to killing the sting, nothing beats Sting Kill.
For more information on Sting Kill's products, or where to get them, make sure to visit their website by clicking on the link in the video description below.